I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Lucas. Thank you so much for that. If anyone's interested in requesting any other type of videos or reactions or reviews or what have you, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for a film called Bedknobs and Broomsticks from the 70s, starring Angela Lansbury. For what I understand, this was a film they were going to make because they did not think they could get Mary Poppins to make that into a movie, but then they did, and so this got put on the back shelf. And then when Mary Poppins became a big hit, they're like, okay, go with this film too. And to be honest, I wasn't a fan of this movie. And there are multiple versions, including a 133-minute version, but I'm sorry, I was not a fan of this film. I thought, other than, there's two moments. There's an animated sequence involving soccer, and there's a sequence in the finale, which is interesting. Other than those two scenes, I thought this film was boring. A lousy version of Mary Poppins with dull songs and a plodding, overlong pace. It felt long, it felt slow. The characters, I'm sorry, didn't really do much for me. The kids didn't do much for me. The songs. That's the thing with Mary Poppins, is that the characters like Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, they felt more dynamic to me compared to here. And the songs are very memorable. Chim Chimmery Chim Chim Chiroo, or Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I can't remember the songs in here. Unless you give me a minute or two. Yeah, the premise of the film, it takes place where these bombings are happening in London because of the Nazis. So these kids can escape the Nazis and can escape all that. There's a bit where it's far away. Kids are being put into houses, and three of them get put into Angela Lansbury's house. And she doesn't want them at first, but she's forced to take them in. And she's like, okay, well, you don't do what I say. You don't eat these vegetables. You don't like it. And the kids come to find out that Angela Lansbury, who, of course, would later be in Murder, She Wrote TV show, a voice on the animated film Beauty and the Beast, she's a witch. She tries to work this broom. It doesn't work out. The kids find out. One of them tries to blackmail her. And she has a tendency to turn people into rabbits. That's one of her big spells, is to turn people into rabbits, at least for a short time. I guess she's wanted to become a witch to help with the British war effort. Although, I'm not sure really anything much comes of that by the end. But anyway. But yeah, the songs. You know, we wrote the story of the old brigade, the soldiers of the old guard. I didn't give a shit. At one point, the movie stops so that a bunch of people can have random dance scenes to either Scottish music or girls dancing or whatever. Because more of the story is, or you have the three orphans, you have Angela Lansbury, and then she wants the final culmination of her work by supposedly the guy she's been learning from, Professor Brown, played by David Tomlinson. If you don't know who that is, he was the father in Mary Poppins. He was the villain in the original The Love Bug, the Herbie Love Bug movie. He's in this, and you come to find out he's a phony. He's a phony with spells, but Angela Lansbury's the real deal. Ultimately, he joins them. The title comes into play because in order to get from there to London to see Professor Brown, they use the bed, and the control is his Bedknob, and gives that to the youngest kid. Like, you're in control. You keep this for safekeeping. And they go from there to London. And the effects, even for the 70s, don't really hold up in that aspect. It's just a bunch of filters. I mean, granted, it's 1971. It's not going to be fucking caliber today, to be fair. But I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm going, is this movie ever going to take off? Is this movie ever going to take flight? I like Angela Lansbury, but her character was kind of meh. Didn't have the same magic or wonder of Julie Andrews and Mary Poppins, which seems like what they wanted. Here's another woman who can fly and can deal with magic and dealing with little kids. And that's what it came off as, a lousy version. It made me go, I would rather watch Mary Poppins. Again, people go, well, why do you keep comparing the two? Again, you have an older lady who can fly with something, whether it be an umbrella or a broomstick, taking care of little kids. You have the same guy, David Tomlinson, in both movies. And you have an animated sequence. In this, they go to an island, and there's this lion king, literally, I think he was a lion. I say that because he doesn't have the mane, but I don't know what animal he was. He looks like a female lion, but he's a male. So I don't... Anyway, he's got a crown, he's wearing the medallion that they need, and you have this soccer match that happens. And before that, I should mention, there's this... They're under the water, and there's this fish talking with them, cartoon fish, and Angela Lansbury and David Tomlinson do this dance number under the sea and won an award, and that leads into him getting up top, and David Tomlinson has to be this referee at the soccer game, and that's when the movie picked up for me, because I like the animation, and that right there was fun to watch, which is sad. I had more fun watching the cartoon characters than I did the real people. And they weren't really characters, it was just, oh, here's these vultures who happen to have Red Cross symbols on them. I like that detail, because vultures are known to come in and pick at the dead, and instead now these vultures are, literally the Red Cross. They literally have a Red Cross to help people. I mean, again, I thought that was actually a neat idea. And the different teams, like one over here, there's a hippo, and over an elephant, and a kangaroo, and such. And over here you got an alligator, and you got the king himself, and you got a gorilla who's the goalie, and this back and forth of the soccer game was rather entertaining. It made me want to watch a whole movie about this. Like, imagine Major League That's baseball. But imagine a movie like Major League, but done in cartoon style. We have this group of animals that are losing, and then I was getting so bored with the film, I put in Major League. There's a music called The Pennant Race or The Pennant Montage or something like that with the pennant. It's a score from Major League, this baseball movie. I played that music during this sequence, and it worked fairly well with the going back and forth. Da, 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 boom, 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 da, 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 do, 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 do. And either they're tripping over each other, they're tripping the other one, or the two goalies are going back and forth while the people in the middle, or the animals in the middle are going, like, what the fuck? Can we get in on this? And again, I was enjoying the animation, and I was enjoying what they were able to do with as simple of an idea as a soccer game. And I'm like, can't the whole movie be this? But it's not. So instead, they get the star and medallion, and then the entire thing was pointless. Because they get back to their world, and the thing disintegrates. And then the kid's like, oh, by the way, I have that star in my book. It has the incantations there. So it was all literally for nothing. I mean, I guess technically not, because I got to see an animated scene, which was, again, like Mary Poppins did. But story-wise, technically, it was fucking pointless, because the kid had the fucking thing in his book the whole time. Because I guess they didn't need the actual medallion, they just needed the inscription on it. And it was in the kid's book. It's like, and then it's like fucking movie, man. There's a moment where they're moving inanimate objects, which, I don't know, made me think of the Mary Poppins. A spoonful of sugar make the medicine go down. I think even she was like putting shit away. That's what I mean. It just, so much of this film just made me think of Mary Poppins. I go, wow, I would rather watch Mary Poppins, because as much as I liked Angela Lansbury, again, Julie Andrews had much more of a pep in her step. Dick Van Dyke had a bit more charisma. That's why David Tomlinson, he did okay, but I can understand why he was cast more as the villain. Which is sad, because he had Roddy McDowall. And I'm like, why wasn't Roddy McDowall cast in that role? I think David Tomlinson didn't do a bad job, but Roddy McDowall, who's a clergyman, he has like 3-4 scenes. If you watch the extended cut, there's a little bit more, where he wants to date Angela Lansbury because he wants her property. But really, there's not much. I mean, Roddy McDowall is completely wasted in this film. He's a good actor. If you watch the theatrical cut, he's in it like 2-3 times at most. His first appearance, then he comes by and his hat gets moved, and then he gets scared off, and I don't think you ever see him again. So it might be like 2 times he appears in the theatrical cut. He's a little bit more extended, but he's completely wasted. Completely wasted in a nothing role. Roddy McDowall. So again, a good actor just completely wasted. Let's see. So, and then the finale of the film, it's almost like a tonal shift, because now this is World War II, so you have the real Nazis come in, they take over Angela Lansbury's place, they take over the kids. David Tomlinson at this point is leaving. He finds out what's going on, he sneaks back in to get them, rescue them. And then Angela Lansbury makes this big magic spell to get all this armor of the knights. Armor that was on the horses, armor on themselves, and use them to battle the Nazis. And that was an interesting scene. There's that part of me that goes, I don't know, this is supposed to be a very silly kids film. You have Nazis, but at the same time you had that stuff in Bugs Bunny cartoons. You had that in the Three Stooges, so I guess it could work in this. But I don't know, just, you know, the Nazis battling these knights, and it's just the armor. So like they'll knock the head off, but then the helmet comes back, or they'll knock a piece off, and they'll just keep coming, or one will shoot, and the other will spit bullets back. Again, there's some interesting visual stuff to that finale. I laughed when there's a moment Angela Lansbury gets blown up because the Nazis are leaving, and I guess Angela Lansbury's too stupid to realize they put a bomb there, so it explodes. And then there's a shot where she's like, ah, like she's on the broom and the body goes, pooh. I will admit, for a full minute, I thought, man, what if they, you know how they do those, what if, like this is how it should have ended, or what if it ended this way? I thought, what if it ended with, you see her dead body, and then the kids are like, and then freeze frame, and cut to like music from Silent Rage. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the music from Silent Rage, the Chuck Norris movie. Very creepy music. And like, if freeze frame, that's how it ends. I'm like, wow, this is a really weird ending to this movie. But no, she's fine. She's driven the Nazis off. And now Tomlinson, he's going to go into the army to fight the war. So I guess her using spells for the British war effort, I guess in the case of driving those Nazis away, but not to actually help stop the war, which I thought was her, she brought that up earlier. I thought that was the point, is that you don't use it to help stop the war. But no, it was, okay. And so he goes off in the army and dies trying to save Private Ryan. The end. Not really in that last part, but maybe. I don't think there was a sequel to this. Maybe he did die in the war. Maybe he did die trying to save Private Ryan. Or Ryan's Privates. Who knows? But yeah, the movie, if you're a fan of it, I'm sorry, I can't like every movie that comes out from Disney back in the day. I like some of them. I like Dumbo. I like Pinocchio. I like Mary Poppins. I don't mind Fantasia. But I'll say it before I say it again. To me, I just go the animated sequence is fun. But with the knights, the armor of the knights and the Nazis are kind of fun. Other than those two scenes, this film was a rather big bore. And like I said, just made me go, I would rather just go watch Mary Poppins. That's just me. And Roddy McDowall was wasted in a nothing role. The kids, I didn't give a shit about. And it felt more like a weak copy of Mary Poppins than its own film. Again, just my opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.